Welcome back to another stimulus package update. We got some talking to do, y'all. Some things have changed, and I think you're going to be very interested at everything that's going on. So before we get started, let me just kind of tell you, I say it every time, but I'm going to say it again. All of my videos are done in a non-partisan way. I don't claim either side, and I try not to take sides, whether I oppose the bill or whether I am rooting for the bill. Okay, so let's talk about the HEROES Act and everything that's happening. So we heard that the HEROES Act passed in the House. And if you're not familiar with anything that's going on so far, and you're brand new to this whole, is there going to be another stimulus package debate? Let me just get you caught up in 30 seconds or less. Basically, there's a new bill called the HEROES Act. It passed in the U.S. House of Representatives, meaning that it got through phase 1 of the process. Now, in this new HEROES bill, a lot of people love it and they want it to pass in the Senate, but a lot of people hate it because it has a lot of extra little things in there that they feel are unnecessary. But if it passes, you can count on getting another $1,200 stimulus check, and that's why a lot of people are just excited and they're just like, pass it. I don't care about the extra, just pass it. So let's talk about that. If you are for getting the HEROES Act passed and you want to get it passed, then you are definitely another step closer, because over the last week since it passed in the House, a lot of new things have happened. Now, we saw last week when it passed in the House, all of the Republicans were against it. They did not want this thing to go through. There was only one Republican that voted yes for the HEROES Act, and that was New York Representative Peter King, who voted yes just because he says New York needed the money, that federal money that they would be giving to states. He says his state needed the money, but he was the only Republican that voted yes for the HEROES Act. So it seemed like all hope was lost to get any other Republicans on board. But guys, then comes in Cory Gardner. He put up a big fuss on Twitter saying how they need to do something. Funding needs to come now, and Senate shouldn't take a recess until they pass a bill, until they bring some funding. Let's just look at his tweet. It says, before the Senate leaves, and this was on May 20th, he says, before the Senate leaves, we must address ongoing public health crisis with nursing homes and assisted living centers, modify PPP rescue program to reflect ongoing challenges by employees and employers. 3, pass a stimulus bill to address growing unemployment and help states reopen. Now, this is a Republican. Cory Gardner is a Republican, but he says before Senate even leaves, they need to get these things done. So I was like, wow, he's really on it. So when Senate got in yesterday, I was really thinking that Cory Gardner was going to keep his promise. He promised he was going to hold Senate up, and there was no way they were going to leave until they agreed to do something. Well, lo and behold, Cory Gardner did not hold up to his part of the bargain, and they did nothing. Senate adjourned without even going over any of this. So we can see that he didn't hold up his part of the bargain. We thought something was going to happen. He put up a big fuss that he was going to push it and push it and push it, and he didn't do any of that. So no one knows what went on behind the scenes to get Cory Gardner to drop it. And it really seemed like he was going to stand up for the people, but then he just kind of dropped it. But let's not worry about that. The fact that he is still advocating for something to happen soon is still a good sign, and he's a Republican. Everyone said that this bill would be DOA and no Republicans would go for anything like it, but now we're seeing more and more Republicans jump on board, not necessarily with the HEROES Act, but with some type of bill, and they're saying that it needs to happen sooner rather than later. So whether or not it's the HEROES Act, or whether or not the HEROES Act will go through negotiations, because more Republicans are now interested in seeing what we can put in, what we can leave out. More Republicans are now interested in saying some legislation needs to happen. This money needs to come out. So now that we're seeing a lot of that, let's look at another Republican senator. Senator Susan Collins from Maine said on the floor on Wednesday, she said, we must act now. We have to do something. I'll read her direct quote. It says, we must not wait. We should act now. Senator Roger Wicker quoted to CNN, I think June doesn't need to come and go without a phase 4. And again, this is a Republican senator. So we're seeing that momentum build among Republicans. They don't want to face not getting reelected. And a lot of them are seeing that their constituents want a bill of some sort passed. So the pressure is on.
I think there's a high likelihood we will do another rescue package, but we need to be able to measure the impact of what we've already done, what we did right, what we did wrong, correct that.
At first, no Republicans were on the team, but now more and more, day by day, we're seeing more and more Republican senators get on board, not necessarily with the HEROES Act, but with passing some type of legislation. So if you want another stimulus bill, this is what you need to do, and that's why this video is so important. A lot of people have asked me, what can we do? We're just people, they don't listen to us. When re-election comes around, I'm not voting for this person or that person. A lot of people are like, I don't know what else to do except for, say I'm not going to vote for them next time. Listen, let me give you a solid plan, and this is all going to be in the description box below. You do matter. Your voice does matter. What you have to say does matter. You are an American. Your opinion very much matters, especially with the lawmakers that count on your votes for re-election every term. And this is what you need to do. In the description box below, I'm going to give you several ways to contact your lawmakers, your congressmen, your senators. I'm going to give you several ways to contact them, and you call their offices, leave messages, send emails, write letters, and let them know. If you're for the legislation, let them know, hey, I want to know where you stand with the HEROES Act. If you're calling and leaving a message, let them know my name is so-and-so, I live here, I'm in this district, and you're my senator. I want to know where you stand on this. And if you are not for the HEROES Act, what do you plan to do? What legislation would you like to see in its place? Because we need relief. You want to get on the phone, write an email, send a message, and let them know that you see the moves that they're making when they're in the Senate. You see the way they're voting, you see the sides they're leaning on, and you see the opposition that they're putting out there. If you heard your senator say something like, I don't think relief is needed right now, how would you feel about that? And that's why it's so important to pay attention to every meeting, to watch every meeting, because your lawmakers for your state are making decisions that will affect you. The votes in the Senate will come from your lawmakers, and they need to know that you see them and that you will be intentional about who you vote for in the next election. So click those links in the description box below. If you want the bill to pass, let them know that you want it to pass. Tell them what you do for a living. I'm a teacher. But I'm going to the food bank lately. I've worked 30 years and I'm about to retire, but yet I've had to sell my house, sell my car, and now I'm going to the food bank. You have to explain these things to your lawmakers and let them know that, hey, it's real out here in these streets. And we are not living the easy life that some of you are living. And these are things that you have to make abundantly clear. This will affect how they decide which way they will vote and what provisions they think need to be in the bill or to be taken out. They need to know that the people of their state, the people of their cities are paying attention. So let's say you don't like the HEROES Act at all. This is still for you. You should still make these calls. You should still send these messages and let them know, I don't like the HEROES Act. I oppose it. However, is there a way that you can get in there and work in a nonpartisan way with the Democrats, just like they work together on the CARES Act? Is there a way that you can pull out some of the non-essential things and keep in the provisions that will directly affect the American people in the best way? Call them and let them know what you like, what you don't like, and what you expect for them before the next election. I promise you they will be listening. I want to hear from you guys in the comments. If you're going to call, if you're going to write a letter, if you're going to send an email, join in the conversation below. You might find someone in the comments from your city. You might find someone in the comments from your state. Let's hear it. What do you think that your lawmakers should be doing concerning the HEROES Act? You can't complain if you don't do anything. If you don't pick up that phone, if you don't send that email, if you don't write that letter, you have to do what you have to do your part and be a citizen. Let me know what you guys think about this video. OCC gang, I'm out.
Mitch McConnell says it's dead on arrival. Oh, it's dead on arrival. And that he doesn't see an immediate need for more stimulus. Okay? So how are you going to help people who need it? What are you going to do?
Right. Well, he's in an alternative universe, unfortunately. An immediate need, when you look at the TV stations and the news and you see miles of people lined up in cars to go to food pantries, and then the news media interviews them and they say, I never had to do this before, but I need to feed my family.